When it comes to the characters of Euphoria, I really don't judge them as much because these people are just performing heightened versions or watered down versions of what's happening between you and me and all of our interpersonal relationships, people online, etc. Because the speech that Cassie's mom gave to her, which is horrible for her to do, walking down the aisle, because girl, why are you talking? I'm trying to hear the music so I can be on beat so I can walk down the aisle and look at my fine ass man down the aisle, girl. Look at my dress. Hello? Look at this custom ass fire dress that I got on. I got my bridesmaids up there, them ugly ass dresses, girl. Shut up. I don't need to hear you trash talking your relationship with my deadbeat ass daddy who I had a loving relationship with until I found out he was using me for money so he could go gambling and everything with. And I still got the trauma from my daddy and everything with. And you over here talking about what you went through with that man on your wedding day and how the wedding day was the good day of your life. And now you got two daughters and you can't even be happy for me on my wedding damn day, girl. You being passive aggressive and shit, making it about you, girl. How dare you? But it was also so prophetic because it was basically literally talking her through what's about to happen next. Hey, you're about to have a great day. Then you're going to wake up tomorrow, it's going to be hell. As soon as you say I do, you're going to wish you said I don't. It's giving something very bad is going to happen, boo. Cassie mama said 1, 2, 3, release him. Like she was releasing a Kraken. Now Cassie stuck with this man and he broke. Which is very interesting. Obviously, Nas said like you sometimes you marry when you marry into wealth and you also marry into debt, which is very, very true, which is why it's important to talk finances when you get married to somebody. But unfortunately, Nate was a liar. No surprise there because everybody's a liar. Everybody on that cast is lying, hun. Nate Jacobs and Cassie Howard, or Cassie Jacobs, they're not the only ones lying, friend. I'm sorry to tell you. Maddy lied to Cassie and put on the facade of the type of life that she's living because she wants to look a certain way. And Cassie lied about the marriage and the happy relationship that her and they have, that things are so happy-go-lucky because she wants her life to look a certain type of way. So the inverse of them two crying or having that emotion welling up, viewing each other's lives and wanting a piece of what each other have while not wanting to swap each other's lives roles, but the relationship, commitment, and peace that Cassie seemingly has with Nate, Maddy possibly yearns for that stability and that relationship, not even necessarily with Nate himself, but there's also a tinge of that where you see somebody who you love so much wanting them to change, but they do it for somebody else. I think all of us experience that, and it's enraging and it's so upsetting and it's unfortunate to go through. And it's also with Cassie seeing Maddy being a self-sufficient woman, because as much as Cassie is a woman who is so male-centered and wants to be loved and accepted by a man and want that male validation and comfort, she's still somebody who has some hopes and aspirations and dynamic to her, and she still wants to do things. She wants to be seen and valued in other types of ways and wants money. She is not solely lazy, and we've seen that. And I think the judgment of Cassie moving into SW is interesting because when we met her the first season, she was casted into SW without her consent, to where it played a part in her being so willing and morally damaged to where she would make the decision to date her best friend's ex abusive boyfriend. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It was also poetic and beautiful, and Nate telling her to smile through their wedding dance, and she's trying to talk to him, and she's clearly breaking down, him just smiling through the pain, and that's going to be emblematic of their relationship and marriage, however long it lasts, if it gets to that point, and what she's had to do through so much with men in her life. Smile through the pain, smile through the pain, smile through the lies and the trauma that they've caused against her. And we've seen that with almost every male character that she's interacted with since season 1. Regardless of what has happened, I think there's genuine love between Cassie and Maddy, because the way Cassie was hearing what people were saying about Maddy indirectly, girl, Nate Mama was throwing shade at her. It didn't like she was happy to hear that. Like she almost wanted to like mouth I'm sorry, which I think would have been really weird, and also she's apologized in a way already. But to me, I felt that she felt bad for Maddy in that moment, and they were looking at each other, and it wasn't a moment of like gloating at all. Like there was no gloating on Cassie's end, which I feel a little bit of appreciation for, and like I don't know. I kind of appreciate that. I don't know. I think the dress is beautiful. I don't think that her boobs were hiked up to her chest like people were saying, like pushed up. Because when she was walking, like it didn't give that. She's a busty woman, but during the dance, you see the pieces cover. I'm like, that's realistic. Like that's what happens. So that felt more realistic than them resetting the scene and having her push down. That felt very realistic to what would happen in real life. I like that aspect of it. I thought it was a great episode and great messaging for marriages and relationships and accepting the good and bad with the partner. And remember when Ellis, Jules's father of Sweet Funds, told her about his wife and situation, how she is understanding of his proclivities and interests and things. And it's kind of just like quiet, almost like don't ask, don't tell. Like I'm understanding and I'm cool with it. Like we probably have understanding, like a conversation, and you just do your thing. As long as you come home and you're able to live this regular heteronormative life with me and then get your rocks off and do the things that you can't do with me, but we're still good here. That type of understanding, and him saying when you marry someone, you love someone, to love their great parts means you have to also be with and sit with and accepting in certain ways to a certain extent of their bad and worst parts as well. And we see that now with Cassie, and she say like, I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be somebody with no money. That's her standard, and like can't knock her for that. No shade. I will say this to the people who say that Cassie wasn't there defending her man. She tried to, and that man bashed her head into the ground, and she was bleeding everywhere. Then she clocked in and was like, "Oh, when you lied to me, but got me upset at my own wedding. Had the man come to my wedding and trying to ruin my dinner, my wedding. I'm trying to eat my caviar, my steak and stuff like that, and he ruined my wedding, my vibe. Then you say that you finna carry me across the threshold, and you finna threshold me through the mattress. Now you can't do that. Then I tried to help you when this man came and was trying to attack you, and now I got bashed in the head on my car on my floor, and now I got blood on my dress. Yeah, no, I'm not helping you either. Take that whooping. Get your lashings, and I hope something for your daddy, because he trying to over there play like he ain't no PDF file, and he really is. The hell? This movie episode that we got, I really liked it. Let me know what y'all think that this said about relationships. I think that it brought into question so many things in media right now that we've seen, which is why I keep bringing this up. This is something like the drama. This is also mostly something like Something Very Bad Is Gonna Happen, a show on Netflix. If you haven't seen it already, it's a really, really good show. If you really want to get into the shrimp and grits on how I compare Something Very Bad Is Gonna Happen to this episode of Euphoria, watch the first 2 episodes of that show and then watch the last 2 episodes of that show, and you'll get the gist of it. But in essence, in the show Something Very Bad Is Gonna Happen, a woman has to decide whether or not marrying her fiance is worth the possibility of her losing her life. Literally, if this person isn't your soulmate and who you really think they are, and you're destined for each other, girl, you finna be gone. You're getting deleted after you say I do. Or you can choose to not and not marry that person. And then other things happen. Because with the serious decisions of marriage, especially the impact that it has on women because of the net negative that comes along with marrying a man in a heteronormative society, there's so much weight, unfortunately, that goes into the bride, the woman, the femme folks, and the situation that they have to bear, because finances is just the base level of it. So I don't know. I just think it's very interesting, which is why when Jules and Ellis' situation, the wife is somewhat not benefiting in the situation, but Jules is benefiting in the situation while also not ever being able to be in a full relationship with this person who, even if she does get along with and he treats her well, she will never be able to have that wife position or committed long-term relationship with somebody who's actively in the home together with her. And Cassie now is unfortunately in a situation with somebody who she's taking on his debts and his lies because of his lies to her and everyone else around, because of also the lies that he's told himself. Which then Jules come around, girl, and then Maddy is upset because Maddy wanted. You get what I'm trying to say? You know what I mean? Yeah. Let me know what y'all think about this. Everybody's performing, and Jules is performing when she's standing up there like a statue and getting covered up in saran wrap. Looking tea. How did y'all feel about this episode of Euphoria? Shout out to BB. Love y'all. Bye.